God, why do we have to talk about a replacement for Kingda Ka, man? This is about to be the most depressing video on my channel. Even more depressing than my vlogs. I can't believe we have to talk about this. Why do we have to talk about this? Oh my god, what am I doing here?
Now get ready. Here we go.
What is going on, you guys? It is Arkham, and we have a top 5 video for you all today, referring to Kingda Ka. Well, if you're listening to this video now, you probably already know that Kingda Ka is unfortunately getting entirely demolished. It's not getting renovated, it's not getting extended, it's getting entirely removed. Which means we have to find a replacement, which is the case that it is getting a replacement, which is awesome. The question is, what is that replacement going to be? And in this video, we're going to be doing a top 5 list of the top 5 launch coasters that could be a viable replacement for Kingda Ka. And there's a lot of really interesting options when it comes to the launch coaster catalog. And we're going through all different kinds. And there's a couple things that we have to keep in mind here. Number one, going based off of the description that they are giving us, the very vague description of this coaster, it says that Great Adventure will be unveiling a record-breaking launch coaster. It doesn't specify if it's a multi-launch. It doesn't specify what kind of launch. It just says a record-breaking launch coaster. So I kind of have to think outside the box for this top 5 video and what I think they could do for a launch coaster that could not only break records, but also be a good attraction that could serve as a standout in the park, as well as a viable replacement for Kingda Ka. And in this video, we're going through all the options, so I hope you enjoy my 5 options that I provided for you for what could be a good replacement for Kingda Ka. Let me know what your thoughts are on this top 5 list. Obviously, this is all my opinion on what I think they could do, but I want to hear from you what you think they could do. So don't forget, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Always think your write-ups, and let's get into it. Let's start with the most unlikely option I selected here, and that is a B&M launched wing coaster. The only reason I selected this coaster type is because, one, it's a coaster type that Great Adventure does not have, and number two, it feels like a very beatable record and could be by a substantial amount. So it looks like a really great ride, Rapterra, at King's Dominion that's opening up in 2025, but I still feel like that it's very easy to try to outdo this ride by a lot. I think this is a very easy record to break. They could break the inversion record, they could break the height record, the speed record, the length record. There's a lot of records that they could break with a launched wing coaster, and I feel like this is just an easy option to put at number 5. But the only reason that I feel like it's not going to be any higher is just because of the coaster type. I feel like it would need to be something even more imposing. I mean, one can dream. But coming in at number 4 is the S&S Axis Coaster. The only reason I have this ride on the list is because of past usage of S&S. Now, I understand Mack's Force has been a bit problematic for Great America, and most people may not be so crazy about S&S, especially after Steel Curtain, but hear me out here. I think the Axis Coaster is just so unique and has been so successful when it has those like mini runs, especially at the plant. I mean, this is a ride that just looks so cool and you can't admire. What's really cool about the Axis is that it could be both launch and chain lift, so it definitely has a lot of variety. And I think a launch Axis would be very easy to beat, especially since the only one is in Saudi Arabia, themed to Transformers, and is not even any more than 50 feet high. So you could easily break the record for the tallest, fastest, longest Axis coaster. It's a very easy record to break, no doubt about it. And because of how unique it is, I can't see how they wouldn't go with it. That's my number 4. All aboard the Intamin hype train for number 3, the vertical LSM launch coaster. What better way to honor a massive top hat than by having it launch up vertically? Something that hasn't really been done in North America. And this would be an amazing fit for the park, serving a really unique launch concept while also being able to be a multi-launch coaster or even just a one launch coaster at that. This ride looks to have so much potential that I cannot see why I would include it on this list. The vertical LSM launch coaster looks to have many different elements such as inversions, different moments of banking, and just being able to have a really cool and condensed layout, which is much different than Kingda Ka ever had. And I think would add a lot of character to the park by having something like this, especially being seen from driving in right at the front. Vertical LSM Intamin, you are number 3. All right, here come the angry marble coaster enthusiast. Number 2, the Intamin Blitz. I mean, this has been one of the most commonly sought out roller coasters of this generation. Easily one of the most popular coaster types ever. Velocicoaster, Tutatis, Pantheon, Taiga. There's so many Intamin Blitzes out there. Maverick. Like the new generation of the Intamin Blitz has transformed the coaster industry and just overall business for Intamin. I mean, this roller coaster is fantastic. I've never been on it, but they look like amazing rides, and I guarantee they are amazing rides. There is no doubt in my mind that adding one of these to Great Adventure would absolutely boost attendance no matter what it is. I don't even care if it's an exact clone of Velocicoaster because I know it's going to be a great ride. Literally, this ride looks so good. This kind of coaster just needs to be in the park and would really serve as a great replacement for Kingda Ka. They could even make it the tallest, the fastest, the longest, most inversions for all I care. There's a lot of options with the Intamin Blitz, and everybody knows that. It comes in at the number 2 spot. Oh god, I hear the rioting outside. They got pitchforks and torches and everything. Coming in at the number 1 spot, the Mack Extreme Spinner Coaster, but more specifically, the 400-foot tower coaster. What the heck are you thinking, Arkham? What on earth are you thinking putting this at number 1? The biggest reason I put this ride at number 1 is because it was a survey coaster. What do I mean by it was a survey coaster? Well, apparently there is a survey that was put out not about 2 or so months ago, right? And it had this roller coaster on it as a potential option. And now that Kingda Ka is entirely getting removed, I can't help myself but think that this is going to be the replacement. I don't want it to be the replacement. I'll be honest with you. It's not a good layout. It doesn't feel like this layout is going to be any beneficial to the park, especially for how popular the park gets. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that they're just trying to make a more reliable and even more thrilling version of Kingda Ka. And this made me think even more about, well, what kind of records does this thing break? Tallest, tallest and fastest spinning coaster. The only upside down launch coaster in the world. The first concept ever. There's so many different records this thing breaks. I can't help myself but put it on the list. Now, even knowing that this was actually a ride that was featured on a survey felt so intentional that I can't help myself but put it this high on the list. I think a box stream spinner by itself is a fantastic replacement. Ride to Happiness and Time Traveler are both world-class roller coasters. And I know that this ride is probably going to be another world-class roller coaster if this so happens to be the final choice, but I can't help myself but put this one this high on the list. It comes in at number 1. And there you go, guys. That's what I think the top 5 most likely Kingda Ka replacements are going to be. I mean, this was such a difficult list to make because I feel like the catalog is not only so extensive, but I feel like there aren't that many roller coasters that can live up to the hype that Kingda Ka could, which made this list so difficult to create. But let me know your thoughts. What would be your perfect Kingda Ka replacement? You know it's getting taken out. We know it's getting entirely, something else is entirely going in that spot. Kingda Ka is not returning. What would you do? Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Always thank your write-ups. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you in the parks. Goodbye.
Here we go.